It was a golden afternoon in a quiet suburb where the streets glowed with late sunlight, and the hum of distant traffic blended with chirping birds. 10-year-old Lily Parker struggled with her bicycle on the sidewalk. The front tire had gone completely flat, and no matter how hard she pushed, it wouldn't budge. Her backpack sagged on her shoulders, her ponytail was coming undone, and her small hands were raw from trying to carry the bike uphill. She wiped her eyes with the back of her sleeve, fighting off frustrated tears. Cars drove by. No one stopped. No one even looked. That's when a gruff but gentle voice cut through the silence. "Hey, you need some help there?" Lily turned to see a tall, broad-shouldered man walking toward her from across the street. He wore a greasy navy shirt with his name, Jake, stitched on the front, and his hands were stained with oil. He looked like he'd just come out of a repair shop. She stepped back, cautious. Jake noticed and stopped a few feet away, crouching to her level. "Don't worry, I won't bite. I just hate seeing someone struggle with a busted tire." Lily hesitated, then slowly nodded. Jake knelt beside the bike, examining the tire. "You hit a nail or something?" "No big deal, I can fix it right now if you want." He wheeled it into his small, dusty garage where classic cars and broken scooters filled the space. As he worked, he explained every step to Lily. She listened intently, eyes wide, curiosity replacing fear. "You patch the hole like this," he said, carefully pressing a patch onto the inner tube. "Tighten this bolt. Check the pressure. See? You're really smart," Lily said shyly. Jake smiled. "Nah. Just a guy who likes fixing broken things." What he didn't see was a sleek black SUV parked discreetly across the street. Inside, Claire Parker, Lily's mother, watched with teary eyes. A powerful CEO, always busy, always late, and now watching her daughter learn from a stranger in a grease-stained shirt. The next afternoon, Jake was under the hood of a classic Mustang when he heard the now familiar squeak of bike tires. Lily stood at the edge of the garage with a hopeful smile. "Back again?" Jake said, sitting up and wiping his hands. "I want to learn more," she said. Jake raised an eyebrow but then nodded toward a toolbox. "Well, grab some gloves. Let's teach you how to clean a chain." From that day on, Lily came by after school. Jake taught her how to check tire pressure, adjust brakes, lubricate gears, and even how to diagnose problems by sound alone. She picked it up quickly, more than just the mechanics, she absorbed the confidence that came with fixing something herself. Jake, in turn, opened up. As they scrubbed rust and adjusted handlebars, he talked about growing up in foster care, dropping out of high school, and how he'd stumbled into the world of repair because no one else would hire him. "I didn't have much," he said once. "But I had this garage. And I figured, if I could fix machines, maybe one day I could fix my own life." Lily would listen closely, her small hands busy working beside his. "My mom's always at work," she said one day. "She runs a big company. I don't see her much." Jake didn't push, but something in her voice tugged at his heart. He didn't realize that Claire was still watching, sometimes from across the street, sometimes from the shadows, watching her daughter become more alive than she'd been in years. A week later, rain poured down like sheets from the sky. The sound of thunder echoed as Lily and Jake worked inside the garage, safe and dry. Lily was fixing a rusty old bike Jake had found in a dumpster, and she was determined to make it rideable. Suddenly, the roar of an SUV pierced the storm. The garage door creaked open, and a woman stepped inside, drenched and breathless. Jake looked up. "Can I help you?" The woman looked around, then smiled. "Actually, I think you've been helping me for weeks." Lily's head snapped up. "Mom?" Claire rushed to her daughter and hugged her tightly. "I've never seen you this happy, Lily." Jake's eyes widened. "Wait, you're Her mom? Claire nodded. And also the CEO of Montgomery Tech. You didn't know? Jake gave a half chuckle. I don't even own a computer. Claire looked around the garage. It was modest, filled with warmth and years of grease and stories. She looked at Jake again, not as a mechanic, but as the man who had given her daughter something she never could: time, attention, and patience. I came today because I want to talk, she said. About an opportunity. The following week, Jake stood outside the towering glass doors of Montgomery Tech, fidgeting in a borrowed suit jacket 2 sizes too big. He had no idea why he was here, but Claire had insisted. Inside, Claire gave him a tour. But instead of boardrooms and stock charts, she led him to a large, underfunded department. The company's nonprofit division. Here, engineers designed bikes for children with disabilities, but the program was struggling. They needed someone hands-on. Someone kids could trust. I want you to lead this, she said. Jake blinked. Me? I barely made it out of 10th grade. Claire stepped closer. You taught my daughter more than any classroom ever has. You have heart. You have vision. You connect with people. He looked around. The space wasn't fancy, but it buzzed with possibility: rows of small bikes, blueprints taped to the walls, and photos of smiling children. Lily appeared from behind a door, holding a clipboard. Come on, Jake. Say yes. Jake's chest tightened. No one had ever believed in him like this. He looked at Claire, then nodded slowly. All right, let's fix some bikes. 1 year later, the once empty workshop buzzed with life. Children of all backgrounds gathered around workbenches in bright vests and goggles, learning how to repair and ride their very own bikes. At the front stood Jake, confident, smiling, and completely in his element. He wasn't just fixing bikes anymore. He was fixing futures. Lily, now a little taller and a lot bolder, helped him demonstrate how to tighten a brake cable. She had become his unofficial assistant, beaming with pride. Claire stood in the back, watching through glass windows. She smiled softly, arms crossed, eyes full of gratitude. On the wall behind Jake, a shiny new plaque read: The Jake Initiative, where broken things become whole again. As class ended, one little boy came up to Jake with a broken pedal and nervous eyes. I tried, but I think I made it worse. Jake knelt and grinned. Hey, that's the first step to fixing something: trying. And with that, another story began. What started as a flat tire became a journey of healing, discovery, and connection. A mechanic with a forgotten past gave a little girl the courage to grow. A mother, buried in work, rediscovered what truly matters. And a community found hope through grease, gears, and the simple act of kindness. Because sometimes, it's not the big gestures, but the small, quiet acts of compassion that change everything.